Have you ever felt stuck in life or lost your momentum? How does one get moving again? Today, on a very special episode of Healing with Ketamine, we'll be discussing this journey with one of our former patients and sharing with you all of our work at the Drake Center involving psychedelics, transformation, healing, personal growth, and everything that it takes to be a whole and complete human being. Thank you for joining us today. So as you know, if you've been watching us for a while, you know at our work at the Drake Center that we do work involving ketamine-assisted therapy, creative work, virtual reality, immersive therapies, all of which combine in a holistic package to support people on a journey of personal growth and transformation. During this series, we've been having people come and share their journeys with us. And today, Madelyn, one of our former and current patients, has graciously agreed to join us today and to share her inspiring and exciting journey with us. So we're happy to have her here today. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
All right. So you came to us year or so ago, finding yourself in a particular situation in life and ready to explore a new and cutting edge and interesting method of healing that worked out well for you. So why don't you begin by just giving us a brief introduction of yourself and where'd you find yourself? What brought you to the Drake Center?
Yeah, so my husband and I had been living on the West Coast. He was in the military, and I had just felt like I wanted to get back to Michigan. That's all I needed, and like everything would be fixed when I got back to Michigan, right?
Yes,
and
then, the geographic cure.
Yes. I just wanted to be close to family and be with everyone. And then, we get back, we buy a house, we get a dog, I have the job I want, and I'm at a place where, okay, I have everything I've ever wanted, and I still feel stuck. We bought this house. I physically could not move in.
Yeah, I recall.
How
long did that take?
Several months.
Yeah.
So we bought the house at the end of December, and I don't think I moved in until the spring.
Right.
And I would have panic attacks every time I would go in this house. I'm an interior designer, and so that was all I wanted, right, was to have all these projects and make this house perfect and make it mine. And then every time I would walk in, I would just completely shut down. I couldn't be there. Yeah. I was still living at my parents' house while my husband was living in this house. And as you can imagine, that's not a very healthy dynamic.
No, I recall.
And so I got to a point of being like, something has to change. I, had on and off depression since I was a teenager, and I was like, I think, I'm getting to the point now. I can't live like this anymore.
Have to do something. What all had you tried before coming to us?
I had been in therapy for, 6 or 7 years. And one of the reasons that I chose ketamine as a treatment method is because I, for personal reasons, pretty much refused to take an SSRI. I had multiple providers trying to put me on one, and I just decided that was not part of my path. Right. And are you taking anything now? No.
Okay. Yeah. We'll get to that.
Yeah. So I was like, well, if I don't want to take the conventional thing, what else can I do? And I had read the book How to Change Your Mind by Michael Pollan.
Sure.
And I, when I told my husband that I was going to do this, he was like, I don't think you're a really good candidate for that. You're so controlling. I just can't imagine you letting go and like having this experience. And I said, yeah, whatever. I'm gonna do it anyway. And so, in a late night, desperate Google search, I was looking to see if there were any clinics nearby that did it. And when I went on your website, the testimonial video was Liz, who has been on the show before.
Oh, right, yeah.
And Liz was my high school volleyball coach. She was my realtor. I've known her for over 10 years. And I was like, well, that's a sign that I need. So I texted her the next day. I sat down with her. She told me all about it. And I think the day after that, I had a phone call with you, and I was, signed up the next week.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm doing this. I'm just going to go for it.
I'm just going to jump in and do it. All right. So you came and you did our process that involves us getting to know you and doing the preparation and make sure you're getting comfortable and our series of treatments and the integrations. And so you engaged into that process. And how'd that go for you? What was your experience of that?
It was really great. I was, of course, I guess, a little bit skeptical because there are so many clinics that I feel like are just kind of pushing people through and maybe not giving people the most guidance that they need. And actually, after the first time I did it, I said, oh, this is criminal to give people without any kind of integration, to just let people have this and then send them on their way. There's just so much going on that to not have some kind of guidance through it is really a disservice to the medicine itself, I think. So in those, I had so many questions in the intro sessions and the consultation, and I left feeling like, okay, this place is a good combination of the scientific background, the spiritual process, the creative process, and the fact that it offers something outside of just, a nasal spray and send you on your way. That was super important to me.
Yeah, and that what you wanted to have that. The full package, yes. I wanted to get everything. And I think, the studies show that is the best practices to doing with combining it with integration. Helps deepen it and sustains you longer. So how did you find this helping with your, with what you brought to us of being stuck and unable to move into your home? How did that evolve for you?
Well, I think that I was seeking a psychedelic experience because my understanding was that it would involve some kind of like ego death. I've just been so in my head my whole life that I just need something, even if it's for an hour, I just need something to get me out of that, right? And so that's probably why the dissociative effects are so powerful, just because I think they allow you some space from yourself. So in that first session, I was able to, at a lower dose, it was just kind of like the baby session, the intro session of, it's okay, you're going to wake up, you're going to be fine, you can take the leap, and it can be fun. It can be enjoyable, even though we're kind of trying to conquer some dark topics. In
a nice net, in a pleasant space.
Yes. And so, my first time, that's what it was. I was like, oh, I can do this.
Okay.
I can let go a little bit. I can handle it. And then immediately following those, I did not have the immediate antidepressive effects. I was like, I'm going through it right now. This is, bringing a lot of stuff up. And same thing in session 2. By the time I was done with it, I was like, I hope this is working because I feel like I'm going through the fire right now. I literally feel like I am breaking apart at the moment. And I think that's a huge part of your, the whole process with the chrysalis. And you kind of have to dissolve a little bit in order to transform and become the new thing. We do speak in that language.
That's the caterpillar to the butterfly. It does have to fall apart into its pieces, and that can be disconcerting, which is why it's so important to have support and presence, in-person work. We were there with you the whole time. And then how did and then we would have our conversations after the sessions. We'd have our integration conversations. How did that support you through that fiery time?
I think that just someone being there and helping find the purpose in all of it, because that's something else I was struggling with was, what is my purpose? I don't have a purpose. That's probably why, I have all of these things, but I'm still not happy, because I don't have a true, North Star, so to speak. And so in those integrations, probably the most important things that we talked about were being of service, and then me finding my purpose of specifically within my job, because I always felt like my job was kind of superficial. But you helped me realize that, what if you could be like the enlightened person in the room when people are in a tizzy about tile or wallpaper,
Right.
things that
Yeah.
seem superficial, seem like they don't matter. What if you can just, bring some elevated consciousness to the space,
Yeah.
say, we're going to figure it out, we're good, it's okay. And so feeling like I can still have purpose and make a difference in people's lives, even though I'm not doing a job that's like life-saving or, a teacher or a police officer or something like that. I still have, it's still valid.
It is
what I
absolutely
do.
valid. Absolutely
Yeah.
valid, as we would call it. You're helping people design the place where their life happens.
Yes.
Right. And that elevates the whole mission. Right?
Yeah.
And that brings that different energy. All right. So yeah. Thanks for sharing that. So, I'm sure people are interested there. Well, how did you get in your house? What happened that enabled you to finally move into your house?
Another big thing that we talked about was the to-do list will never be done. And it's okay if it's not done. It's okay if things are not perfect. So I thought I was going to come out of this with all of the energy in the world to tackle all my projects and they would all be done perfectly. But what I actually came out of it with, I still had renewed energy. Like, I remember walking in one day and I was just like, I'm back. Like, I feel like myself again, finally, after so long.
Yeah.
But what it really did for me was help me realize that this will never be done. There will always be projects. There will always be things on the to-do list. But it's okay, and you can still exist within this space, even though it's not perfect. And what specifically happened was that my husband started a new thing, and we had this puppy, and we couldn't make it work with me living elsewhere. And so I was thrust into the situation where I had to be at the house, and the timing all kind of aligned so that I had those tools. I was finally at the point where I had those tools and I actually could do it. And then I was forced to be in the house, and I was like, oh, I'm okay. I'm fine here.
Yes.
And then after that, I was in.
So your place of being stuck or frozen was sort of a freeze reaction to overwhelm at everything that you had to do. I have to get it perfect. I have to be perfect. I got to get to do list, and it's so overwhelming that you freeze and you can't take a step. And then somewhere within this process, something enabled you to see it different, to have a different emotional reaction, as you were saying. I don't have to get it done perfectly. I just have to start. It doesn't have to be. I don't have to get the to-do list complete. I can just take it a bit at a time and move forward. And so you had a gentler relationship with yourself, right? And so, we often find within, those ketamine experiences that people just feel, some peace, some acceptance of themselves that allows you to shift your relationship with it and take a step forward. So that's great. So now you find yourself, you've been doing pretty well. You're in the house and moving along, and not on any medications. And how long have you been off the SSRI?
I actually never took. I refused, and that's how I ended up at ketamine.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, outside of that, I don't think I've had a panic attack since May, which is huge. I don't think I've ever gone that long in my life without.
And certainly
happen.
Life hasn't been perfect. That there's been no stress. So how's that? How do you find yourself not being able to not go into that full panic mode?
After each one of my sessions, I would kind of have like an overwhelming message that I walked away with. And one of the strong ones was just like, it's all good.
Yeah.
And that's what's winning now.
Okay.
Before it was the panic and the what ifs and the everything that could go wrong. And that's just not what's in first place anymore. Now it's just like, whatever.
Yeah.
It's all good. And I've never had that before in my life. Like, I think my
relationship with it.
Yeah, my disposition has always been super tightly wound, unable to relax. And so it just kind of allowed me to take a step back from things and not in an apathetic way, but just be like, this doesn't matter. Like, true, there are things that matter in life, and my trim being painted at my house is not one of them. And just like the mental space to be able to say that was something that I haven't experienced before.
Yeah. How does that feel?
Nice.
Right.
It's just a relief,
Okay.
you know.
Any other fringe benefits you've noted? What have other people? How did it impacted your marriage or any of the other relationships?
Yeah. We were actually just talking at Kaleidoscope Club last night about containment, which is
right.
you could probably explain it better than I could, but kind of a tool that you can use when you are listening to someone. And I went home and I told my husband, I said, you're really good at containment. No one ever taught you formally, but just having to deal with me all these years, you're really good at containment. And he said, I don't have to do it as much anymore. And so he's obviously seen a shift and seen a difference. And, it's not to say that I don't get emotional about things anymore. Of course I do, and I still care about things.
Right.
Which is good. We don't want that to go away.
Yeah.
But it's just, everything's just not such a big deal anymore.
I like how you said that, because that's, our goal with people is not to have you never be sad again, and never have a bad day. It's to have you increase your comfort with and your ability to experience the full range of human emotion. And not be so attached to happiness that, you fear of losing everything, or, not be, so afraid of being sad that, or failure that you can't move. But to be able to handle those emotions and feel them and exist and have resiliency and be able to bounce back. That's exactly what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Life continues and you get to roll with it in a better place. So, so glad to hear. The journey is really great. So one of the other cool things we do at the Drake Center, in addition to the ketamine and the integration, is we do a lot of work on creativity and creative expression, as well as immersive therapies in VR. So this is your painting that you created through our process that reflects, parts of your journey. And I know that there are aspects of it that reflect your journey, but also there's just the bigger aspect that you got it done. So why don't you share that with us?
I can look at this all day long and not tell you exactly what it means. I guess hallucinogenic effects, if that's what you would call it. The visuals that you see while you are actually doing ketamine, that's well reflected here. But like you said, what matters more about it is that I was actually able to hand in an assignment, that I got it done. There have been times in my life in school and things where I just wouldn't turn things in because it wasn't perfect enough. And I look at it and I could pick it apart about the quality of the painting or something, but the fact that I did it, and I was, after so long of feeling like I couldn't do anything creative, and that light in me was just gone, to have produced something like this, and to kind of be forced to just sit down and have this come out of me, that's probably what was more important about it than anything specific that's in the painting.
Just to be able to be open
and
and express and be able to say, look, I did it, and to be okay with it. To be okay with it, and whatever anybody may think, it doesn't have to be as perfect for you, right? And that's enough. So that's really powerful, and an example of being unstuck and getting some movement and that free flow of creative energy, and even getting back into your home and elevating your marriage and all of those things. So great. So anything else you want to share? Do you think it's important for people watching to know about the process, healing, getting unstuck, what it looks like? Anything that particularly surprised you about this process?
I think that if I can let go of control, it's anyone can do it, And sometimes you do need some kind of physical accelerant to help you do that. And it's okay to take the leap, and you don't have to tell everyone about it. You don't have to explain yourself. You can do an unconventional thing, and it can help you get to a place you probably didn't know that you could get to. And it's really amazing that exists here. And
that feels really good.
Yeah, I'm really grateful for it.
And we're grateful for you, and that you gave us an opportunity to help you, and came here on here to share your story. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up today for us here on Healing with Ketamine. We thank you so much for your time and attention, and we look forward to seeing you again next month. Have a great day.